Right now, and new tonight at 6, the Anchorage School District is recommending the closures of 3 schools at the end of this school year.
All right, the first campus ASD listed Fire Lake Elementary in Eagle River with an offer for Eagle River Academy Eagle Academy Charter to take over the facilities. The second school, Lake Otis Elementary. That campus could be taken over by the Rilkeschule German Immersion School. And third, ASD named Campbell STEM Elementary as a closure recommendation. Some additional recommendations include relocating Tudor's Montessori program to Denali Montessori, also transitioning Denali's 6th grade to middle school, and adjusting boundaries at O'Malley and Government Hill Elementaries. The recommendations are scheduled to be reviewed this upcoming Tuesday, when public testimony will also be held. The board expected to vote on the following Tuesday, February 24th.
And while we wait for the National Transportation Safety Board to determine the probable cause of the Bering Air Flight 445 crash, we are learning more about the complexity of this investigation. After the NTSB released thousands of documents this week, here's what we now know about a variety of factors thought to have influenced this crash.
The Monker family don't want to see this happen again. They don't want to have any other person in Alaska or anywhere have to go through this experience of losing a father, losing a husband.
Casey Dubose represents the first family who filed suit against Bering Air after J.D. Monker, a husband and father of 3 from Alaska, was killed on Flight 445. Dubose says the flight never should have taken off after NTSB documents show the plane was heavier than the FAA's maximum gross takeoff weight.
Now, private pilots, an aircraft can take off beyond that weight, but what happens is you remove the safety margin. You remove that margin that is out there to allow recovery, or allow that margin of safety if you do end up in a challenging condition, such as flying into icing.
4 families have now filed suit against Bering Air, whose attorneys say they're cooperating with the NTSB investigation, but beyond that have not commented. According to NTSB records, Bering Air has not had a fatal crash since 1990.
There could be on any given day no flights in Alaska that are overweight and 1,000 flights in Alaska that are overweight. There's no way of knowing because nothing happened. So the flight was fine.
I talked with aviation expert Colleen Mondor, who studies why small aircraft crash. And she said there's often a domino effect of compounding decisions and factors that play in.
So the most obvious thing that we know about Flight 445 is that it was overweight. And that's something that a lot of people have been talking about. What we need to do, though, is understand that in that particular type of aircraft, being overweight is not what is going to cause an accident. If it was a crystal clear blue sky day, everything was perfect. There was no having to wait at Nome because of conditions on the runway and all this sort of thing. The weight we would never know about.
NTSB agency staff expect to release probable cause in the Flight 445 crash by this summer.
This is, of course, an evolving story. We'll have any updates or new information on our website.
All right. Well, some people making plans this weekend. Mother Nature has some plans as well. Winter storm, okay? Widespread snow is expected.
We've got meteorologist Jackie Purcell tracking what we can expect for Valentine's Day and beyond.
Yes, as you mentioned, it is a very large and expansive winter storm, so it's going to have widespread impacts across the state. But check out what it looks like as we go into this evening. That storm is just off to the west, but you can see all those colors lit up from winter weather advisories, blizzard warnings, even winter storm warnings, and in the south central area, a high wind watch. So here's our first alert that will really impact Fairbanks and the interior on Saturday. It's a winter storm warning. It starts on Saturday morning going through Sunday evening for 2 rounds of snow, but the heaviest is going to be on Saturday in the interior. They could see 4 to 8 inches of snow on Saturday with an additional 2 to 4 inches of snow on Sunday. But for the south central region, we're at 22 in Anchorage, 22 in Palmer. Fairbanks at 5 below. Looks like their skies are a bit clear. And for the Juneau area, 37 degrees still looks a bit on the wet side in that part of the state. So over the next 24 hours here, just get ready for some Valentine's Day snow. It's expected to move in late overnight and then go into the day through tomorrow. And it should taper off by the time we get into the evening hours. So there you have it, some Valentine's Day snow here. We'll be maybe having to get out the shovel a little bit, but it is a more serious snowfall into the interior, and I'll have more updates on that forecast coming up a little bit later right here in this newscast.
All right, Jackie, thanks so much. Shoveling snow together could be nice. Stay updated with 24/7 weather coverage at your fingertips with our First Alert Weather app. Just search KTUU First Alert Weather in your app store.
Well, capital coverage, deplorable. That is the word that lawmakers used to describe Sitka's Mount Edgecumbe High School this week, and now we get a chance to see what they saw.
Let's take a look here. This footage showing a hole. This is the hole a rat named Tiptoes hides in. That's what students told lawmakers when they visited the school last week. And since Tuesday, when lawmakers raised the alarm, several committees at the legislature have held hearings covering the conditions at the boarding school.
Well, the governor's office previously told us this week that conditions at the school were nothing new and that Governor Dunleavy has sufficiently funded education since he came into office. Lawmakers dispute that, especially after they overrode his veto, cutting $51 million in education funding.
And for a look at all the photos from the trip, as well as what the Education Department and Superintendent had to say about these conditions, visit our website or mobile app. And as we continue to follow the progression of the Alaska legislature, we are covering all angles of politics in our Alaska's Political podcast. We interview lawmakers and other political leaders about the evolving landscape, and we've got new episodes every Tuesday wherever you enjoy your podcasts.
As of Friday afternoon, Yukon Quest Alaska is now guaranteed a new champion. The second musher to scratch from this year's course, a big one. 2025 winner Jeff Dieter announced his intention to scratch from the race this morning, the decision coming at the Yukon River Bridge checkpoint. Dieter was nearly 20 hours into his mandatory 24-hour layover before the announcement, a choice he said, amongst other reasons, was made to preserve his team. Speaking after the move on the race's social platforms, Dieter said, quote, "It's definitely not a quick decision, but coming down the Yukon River the last 150 miles, I've been thinking about my team and what's going to be best for them, not just in this race, but in the Iditarod coming up in a couple weeks and their careers." He went on to add, "These guys aren't just athletes, they're family members, and I need to think about what they need for their career and long life. It's a tough decision, but it's the right decision for me this year." Going to the live tracker now, that move puts Josie Shelley firmly into first place as she nears Rampart. The next closest team, led by Jonah Bacon, is in the middle of his 24-hour layover as we speak. Meanwhile, this year's Iron Dog race gets underway tomorrow morning. Festivities starting at 9, with the pro class racers taking off at 10. They'll be the third and final group to leave Big Lake. Expedition and Ambassador teams left the start line on Thursday. These are a few photos as they prepared for their Junie. Check out that aurora. A halfway point banquet is scheduled in Nome next Wednesday. We'll be there. And of course, members of our team already out on the trail to meet them once things get going. We'll have more for you tonight on the Late Edition.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.